is in a position to survive that.
Unless the Mimikyu continues to pull its magic of surviving with a little bit, but I don't really think it's going to be able to pull it off at this point.
And that Celesteela is getting a lot of health back. Luckily for Nate, it is a plus defense Celesteela, so even after Tapu Koko comes in, it still has the potential to knock it out with a special attack here. Alright, Tapu Koko gonna set up that last Electric Surge.
So right now, I think if you're Nate, I think if you're able to knock out that Tapu Koko, I think you're in a half decent position. I think that's kind of what he has to go for now.
I would expect Protect here and Discharge, since that's pretty safe and takes care of any of the stragglers here. We actually see Celesteela go for that Protect too. Actually a pretty good play here, since it guarantees the Tapu Koko will have spread damage the following turn. And Mimikyu is going to take the knockout. Finally, after putting in so much work though.
Absolutely. Right? So I think something I would have liked to see from Nate is just going for the Shadow Sneak, but as he did opt for either going for one of his other moves or maybe that Trick Room again.
Yeah, Trick Room would have been good there too. And now Nate's going to get in his Tapu Koko, and we'll see if he can still pull it out against Justin, but Justin, his Celesteela is so healthy, man.
Yeah, so right now I think maybe if he's able to, if it is actually a speed tie, which at this point it's not looking like it's going to be one, so maybe he just has to get that Thunderbolt damage into that Celesteela.
Well, we also have to remember that Justin's Tapu Koko is Life Orbed. So I'm not sure if Nate's Tapu Koko is in range of Heavy Slam. It doesn't look like it.
I don't think it is at this point. I think it's just out of it.
But I think Justin can definitely take out Celesteela with Dazzling Gleam. As we see Dazzling Gleam, Nate goes for the double protect. Actually doesn't take out the Celesteela here.
Ooh, that's rough. That might be his door back into this game.
As we see Discharge
as
here.
The Discharge is going to be picking up the KO onto his own Celesteela.
Yeah, that was pretty risky there, but I'm not sure it was the... Ooh, full paralysis? A full paralysis could change this game. And there is no paralysis, so Justin will be taking game one. That last turn was a bit of a mystery there. If Nate had actually attacked with his Celesteela, I think he could have won if he just attacked Tapu Koko with Heavy Slam and Thunderbolt into Celesteela for the KO.
Absolutely. I think that would have been the play, but I'm guessing Nate just expected that his Celesteela was just going to go down to a potential discharge from Justin's.
He possibly forgot about the special defense boost he picked up a little earlier, since that definitely made a difference. Justin. Okay, and both players going to have to think a little bit about going into game two. Nate did pretty well in the early game, setting up Trick Room that early for Gigalith, but just couldn't take quite enough advantage of it, and losing Gigalith too early to combined attacks.
Yeah, that Gigalith, it was threatening, but it never actually followed up on those threats. It did a nice it picked up the KO onto that Whimsicott and did a good amount of damage to the Celesteela, but wasn't actually really able to, like, really get that momentum.
Right, but as we see that Mimikyu does have Fairy MZ, so perhaps the Gigalith isn't actually any Z-move variant, but perhaps carrying a different item. A lot of Trick Room teams do like to carry things like Choice Band or I guess even Hard Stone as consideration, right?
I've seen a couple weakness policies in my time.
Right. Yeah, but I like Nate's plan. I'm not sure if he'll bring Celesteela again. It didn't seem to do a whole lot that Lucario or Pheromosa couldn't do. Especially versus Justin's own Celesteela here. But it looks like Nate knows what he's doing, so he's locked in and ready to go. Justin, on the other hand, that Feeny did throw out one Scald, but other than that, didn't get to do so much. But with Scald, it kind of tells you what item it is, right?
Yeah. Scald is always nice because it is able to pick up the burn, but the Misty terrain kind of negates most of the reason to run Scald at this point. So does reveal a little bit about that Tapu Fini, along with the pretty good damage it did.
Alright, and we're jumping into game two. Justin is up. One more win and he'll have won over the seniors US runner-up at Internets.
Alright, as we see Justin lead with the Whimsicott and Tapu Koko.
As Nate is changing it up and bringing Pheromosa Lucario.
That is a very interesting lead, because I'm not quite sure on what the combination is with these two mons together.
I'm not so sure either. I just know that they're both probably fast, and they also hit hard. But with Whimsicott on the field, it could be pretty hard to get both of these Pokemon to stick around and use their full potential. Nature Power is definitely threatening both of these mons, even though they're not weak to it. But we're gonna see what they can do here. I could see Lucario using Follow Me. It is known for that here, and redirecting away from Pheromosa, so Pheromosa can get off a hefty move into either of these Pokemon, really.
I really think that would be a nice play, because that Pheromosa, if he's able to pick up the KO onto that Whimsicott, but he actually just goes ahead and switches out.
Yeah, I just want to save it for later. Definitely doesn't want to get hit by the Nature Power, which a Protect is, so there is no Nature Power this turn at least. No, Justin just goes for the Double Protect. Just wants to see what Lucario wants to lock itself into. It is going to be a Final Gambit, so knowing that, Nate's going to have to figure out what he wants to do with the Lucario slot now that it has revealed its card. Final Gambit is a move based on the user's remaining HP. If Justin decides to Nature Power into Lucario and doesn't get the KO, Final Gambit won't be doing much at all.
But that does leave Nate's Tapu Koko to just go off and do some Dazzling Gleam, maybe a Discharge if he once again expects his Tapu Koko to be slower than Justin's.
Right. We did see the Discharge though, so he could just go for Discharge to try to get up that Paralysis, but I feel like Dazzling Gleam is the safer bet.
Absolutely. As we see the Lucarios are switch on out.
Celesteela once more. This one might have been a mistake.
That's gonna be. That might not be a very healthy Celesteela after this.
But I'm not sure Nate had any other options. He definitely wants to keep Pheromosa since that is his offensive output this game. And he didn't bring Gigalith, which, I don't know, I feel like he should have brought Gigalith and Mimikyu and tried for the Trick Room mode again.
I definitely think that the Trick Room mode was definitely his way out of this game. As we see the Electrium Z actually just pick up the KO straight off onto that Celesteela.
Well, of his 4 Pokemon, I do believe that was the weakest link. And Dazzling Gleam doing a lot of damage since it's now a single target.
As we see, Nate's just going for his own Dazzling Gleam.
Gonna do quite a bit here. And that puts the Tapu Koko in range of pretty much anything at this point. Though, with the Z move broken on Justin's side, Whimsicott isn't particularly threatening either Lucario or Pheromosa with a one-hit knockout. Even though Pheromosa is kind of thin as paper, I don't think Nature Power boosted in Electric Terrain will still. I don't think that will knock it out.
Yeah, no, I think it'll probably live. Pheromosa is not bulky at all, but I mean, Whimsicott's not very offensive.
Right. They could, however, still use something like Tailwind. Encore Tapu Koko into Dazzling Gleam seems like not a very good play here. Justin may want to even save Tapu Koko for later in the game and just take it out. He does have a couple of switch-ins for Pheromosa, namely that Tapu Fini, but he is just going to protect.
I think we might see a Tailwind get set up here, as we do see the Whimsicott going.
We do see Tailwind, yeah. As we see Pheromosa throw out a Substitute.
Not a move you see every day on Pheromosa, but I certainly love it.
Excellent play from Nate here, knowing that Tapu Koko isn't threatening here. And he's keeping the Whimsicott around for another turn, so that's actually kind of ideal. Now that Pheromosa is behind a sub, Justin will have to double up onto Pheromosa in order to KO. Although Discharge could just pick up both of these Pokemon right now.
I also think a Nature Power into the Pheromosa and then a Dazzling Gleam might also be another play he can make.
Pheromosa going to protect, doesn't want to lose sub just yet. Perhaps just going to sack the Tapu Koko here as Nature Power comes out into that protect, as we predicted, and a Dazzling Gleam. Going to take out Tapu Koko for sure.
Yeah, that is a sad Tapu Koko.
Take a little more Life Orb here. His turns are numbered, but with Lucario back in. Nate does still have an opportunity to turn this around. He can now follow me away the nature power and keep Pheromosa around for more turns, I guess.
Yeah, Pheromosa is chilling behind a sub right now, so it does have the ability to just go for a poison jab or if it's carrying it, and that will pick up either Pokemon at this range.
Right. It also has the opportunity to Ice Beam, which could be good, but I'm not sure since Justin could also just switch right into either Tapu Fini or Arcanine. We see the Whimsicott go for a Protect here. Very interesting move here, as we do see that Follow Me come out.
I think we might see the... Oh, we actually just see the Tapu Koko going for that Discharge.
That's definitely going to pop the sub. Does quite a number on Lucario, but not enough to KO here. But it does get the paralysis here.
I don't think that's going to matter too much because he is using that +2 priority Follow Me, but it always hurts a little bit inside.
We see the Ice Beam go into Whimsicott, and I think that seals the game, really. With a paralyzed Lucario using Follow Me, Pheromosa not behind a sub anymore.
And I think with one more turn of Tailwind, I believe?
One more turn of Tailwind. So I would expect to see Pheromosa Protect here. But if it protects, then Whimsicott can go ahead and Encore into that Protect, right?
Yeah, and then even if he doesn't, he could Protect and then Tailwind, protect the Koko, then Tailwind, and I think Nate is pretty much in a lost position here.
Yeah, the strategy might have not been what Nate wanted. He definitely did not have particularly many answers for Whimsicott, especially with the priority Nature Power. He is going to suck up the Tri-Attack, but Dazzling Gleam is going to come out and just knock out both Pokemon here.
Alright, as that is able to pick up the KO, and Justin is actually able to win this game 2-0. Or pardon me, this 2-0.
The set 2-0. And Nate, again, is a fresh master, but it's very clear that he knows what he's doing. That game 1 was very close, and game 2, and while not so close, maybe it was just not the right call to bring Pheromosa and Lucario.
Yeah, it's a very interesting lead, and maybe that's the reason why we don't see it more right now, is because spread moves are, even if they're weakened by being spread moves, Pheromosa is just not built to live those.
Right, and I think it does make a little more sense considering Pheromosa is the substitute set, so I guess the idea would be Lucario knocks something out or Follow Me's, and you get up a sub. But it just didn't work out thanks to that Whimsicott's priority Nature Power.
Yeah,